What is up, everyone? Back at it again. Inori Jungle tier list patch 13.5. This one's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be doing a live tier list where we're just going to go over everything together on the website, Ellis's new website, tier list maker, draft.dg. And also, I'm going to have law analytics open up so I can go over and tab out and just kind of look at the stats and compare them. So you can have an idea of how I come to my conclusions and how I think about the patch and the meta in general. So let's get started right at the very beginning. So for this meta, there's been so many jungle changes, but the meta didn't really shift that much. The top tier junglers currently in the game is none other than Jarvan the fourth and Neeson. Why I think these two are really broken, I just think stats wise, we can just look at it. They're super good, super high, low. Even though like you could see like Yi and stuff is better, I just think these ones offer more utility and also so much more in the team fight that there's so little you can do to compete with them. Jarvan by far is the best. So much crowd control, so much early pressure, so much utility that just inherently wins you more games because you can just peel and kind of front line for your balling. Also, we cannot forget about the other S plus jungler, Wukong. So I love Wukong. I think he's a great champion for pickup. I think he's a great one. He adds to the S plus category. And this would be my trio of S plus champions currently in the meta. Even though we can see through my stats, like Master Yi is really up there and like Kane and stuff. This is what I think are the best because of the bot lane centric meta. I think no matter what, even if you do kind of poorly on these champions, you're still going to offer that frontline ability to be utility focused, to be able to shield and protect your teammate. While like Master Yi, if you fall behind on him, he is not going to provide those same resources. So that's why he goes into the S tier. And also Kane, blue Kane is super broken right now, guys. So good, so broken. I just can't get over how broken it is. It's a filthy champion, and he's definitely S category right now. Not the other form. Red Kane is garbage, but blue Kane super good. Hecarim I also think is super strong. Really good pickup. His win rate's not that high, but I personally think Hecarim is just a super strong champion. And for an AP jungler, we have Evelynn. Evelynn does really well even after all the nerfs. She's still in a great position. You have Fiddle as well as a really strong, solid, AP jungle options. Those are your top tier AP junglers. And as we just go down the list, you have more general solid champions. Nunu is actually quite strong as well. And Nocturne, I think very good. I have a lot of success with the Eclipse, Black Cleaver build on Nocturne. I think it's just really well. It just goes really well for me. And Kindra's really strong too in this current meta. Kindred, I would rate her pretty high up. Just looking at the stats, she's doing really well in the new meta. She benefits a lot from it. She's a bit more tricky, a bit harder to pull off. That's why I might drop her down a bit on it. But in general, she's a very, very good champion. And also, Gragas Jungle as another AP is very good. Usually the AP aren't in the very top category as much unless you play one of the more specific one-trick champions, but they're definitely still very strong picks. And as you move down, you get into like more assassin category, but I just want to really include all the main champions. I think Zac, is still a very strong champion. The demonic junglers are still decently strong. Not super oppressive like they were before, but still very solid overall in general. And as we move down, this is where we get into like more of the basic assassin category. I think assassins are okay, but Rek'sai would even put her here. They're good, they're strong, but again, they're very much heavy on the skill category. You're very much all in on your utility, your damage and stuff like that. So it becomes difficult to really make as much happen as you can before. You're very all in the damage. Stats wise, Rengar is probably the best performing with the crit build, but stuff like that isn't as reliable because I think it's a very heavy balling meta. So I would prefer if you kind of played more towards like that utility focused stuff. Elise was a top tier jungler, but after the nerfs, she's very much lower tier right now. Maokai jungle definitely lower-ish tier, maybe a bit higher. You could put Diana as well. AP junglers aren't as good as they were before, so you definitely have a lot of weaknesses in that category. And here's where we get like the bottom of the fruit, right? These you can put all these champions like Vego, Vi. They're just average, not that great. They're not going to get you much value. These are just like kind of like beneath what you would want in a priority kind of meta. Graves, I'm not as sure about how I feel about Graves specifically. Actually, I think Maokai's a bit better. He offers a lot more utility and frontline ability. Yeah, Graves, I mean, because they removed the 20% damage debuff from stealing other jungle camps, you can play for like a level 2 invade playstyle. Kindred benefits a lot from that. That's why Kindred's been popping off a bit more. But Graves is just After the Umbral Glaive nerf, I think not clearing wars in one auto kind of slows him down a bit. It does mess around a bit with his whole playstyle, so Graves definitely is a bit of a lower tier champion right there. Olaf, though, even though Olaf is not super high on it, I think Olaf jungle does have a lot more potential. Mostly because Olaf in general is really overperforming as a champion, so I definitely think you can make Olaf work as a jungler. Xin as well. Xin, I think, is actually not that bad. It's hard to really say though. Xin does struggle in some different areas. Usually I use this as like a reference point where I look at their pictures and I start to think about how I feel about the champion. So I don't really just look at the win rate. I mean, pick rate is also really important, but also just thinking like, what kind of champion is this? Even though it has like decent stats, is it really that great of a champion, right? You have to like kind of piece this kind of stuff together. Shaco, not bad in a one trick kind of category. Rammus also, and Mumu still pretty decent picks, so you can definitely see where you can kind of fit these champions in. So like Rammus and a Mumu, very good utility. So even if you fall behind on them, they will give you a lot more value than before. So these are just really solid picks in general. And then you just have like the really unwanted champions that are just not looking so good right now. Honestly, the D category, probably gonna get rid of it. We're just gonna fill it up with the bad boys right now and just finish up this tier list with the really the very bit of, the very end of the champion pool. Who am I forgetting? Ivern. There's always people saying Silas Jungle, not terrible, not terrible, not terrible. Silas is just a very oppressive champion, so you can definitely make him work. But he does struggle a lot with the whole kill experience change and stuff like that. So I'm not sure how I completely feel about him. So like a lot of pick rate, when you look at stats, people have a problem. They just tunnel so much on like win rate, but a lot of it is like pick rate too. You really have to think about how much impact having a higher pick rate does to the stats of a champion. So the fact that Lee Sin has a 19% pick rate with almost a 51.3% win rate, it's just very much insane. It just really reflects why he's just such a strong oppressive champion, you know? Like this fact, a champion like this cannot have higher than 50% win rate. If Lee Sin ever has a higher 50% win rate, he is absolutely broken. Super broken. So this is why I just rate him so highly, because I know from years of experience, like every time this champion's ever been high pick rate, or high win rate above like 50-51%, completely broken champion. Give him more time as people play him and get better, and he just overperforms a lot. Viego is actually surprisingly doing better. I would put Viego actually here. I'll put Silas a bit lower. Viego not as bad. I think as people start to realize his build paths a bit more, I think you'll see a lot more, results from the Viego pick. And actually Nidalee not so bad too, because you can kind of cheese and bait people now. So it's not terrible, I would say. Talon, he's just such a low pick rate champion. I don't even want to include him. But this would be my rundown of my tier list. I'm gonna leave it at that. I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know what you think about having like a live review like this. This is my 13.5 jungle tier list. If you liked the video, sure, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next tier list video.